Hello, I'm Mary V. Today let's have a look at the parts of the violin and the bow. So let's start at the top, and this is called the scroll for obvious reasons. And then you have the peg box here and the pegs. And then you've got the neck and the fingerboard. This black thing is the fingerboard. So just at the top here is called the nut, and it's got little grooves in it, and it trains the strings into the right place to run along. The bridge also has grooves in it to hold the strings exactly in the right place. The front of the violin can be called the belly or the table. The sides are called the ribs, and the back, those marks on the back are the wood, they're called flames. So most violins are made in two pieces at the back, and you can see the two pieces, and normally the front is in just one piece. And all around the edges, both at the front and the back, is something called purfling, which is a beautiful thing that's put in where the violin maker makes a little groove and inserts a little black piece of black all the way around all the edges of the violin, front and back. Some violins have double purfling, which is a beautiful thing. Then we've got the F-holes, then we have the bridge, and we have the tailpiece here, the chin rest, and this bit here is the end nut, and you can see that the tailpiece is attached to that, and that's what holds the strings all the way up to the pegs. Inside the violin right there you can see a little piece of wood, and that goes from the front of the violin to the back, and that's an incredibly important piece of wood called the soundpost. And that allows the vibrations that are created from drawing the bow across the string to travel all through the violin and release the sound. So this black thing is a mute that makes the sound a lot less, and you can just have it permanently on your violin and it fits over the bridge like that. So this thing here is a fine tuner, and everyone has that on the E string, but a lot of beginner violins have a fine tuner on every string. But as you get into a better violin, we leave that behind and we just have one fine tuner for the E string. So just something to say about the ribs. In an older violin, it's quite common for the old glue to have dried up and leave a little gap in the ribs. And that can cause wolf notes and strange notes in your violin. And often if you start to develop that and you take your violin to a luthier, they might just do a simple repair and re-glue around the ribs. And that's usually enough to sort out wolf notes. So let's have a look at the bow. Now this part here at the end is the frog, all this bit. And this wrap here, this is called wrapping, and this is the bow grip. So don't confuse the bow grip with the bow hold, which is what your fingers do, how you hold the bow. Now this is the end nut that tightens up the hair. It tightens and loosens the hair. And you'll see that the bow is curved, and it's designed that way to be very bouncy in certain places. And if you have your hair too tight, it'll straighten out the curve of the bow, and it's not good for a bow to be too straight. It's got to retain its curve. So everyone has their own way of having the bow, tighter or looser. But generally, if you can hear the stick sort of scraping along when you're playing, then maybe your hair is a little bit too loose. Okay, so it's a personal thing and you need to work it out. So we go on to this little bit here. This is called the tip of the bow. So on the actual hair itself, when we're playing, this is called the point, that's the middle, and that's the heel, or the frog. So you're playing at the frog like that, you're playing at the middle, or you're playing at the point. And this is the upper half of the bow, and this is the lower half of the bow. So the setup on a violin is all to do with how the strings sit in relation to the bridge and the tailpiece, and whether those measurements are correct. Because if the bridge is in the wrong place, it can really make the violin always be out of tune. For example, the harmonics. Often, if the bridge is in the wrong place, those harmonics will never be in tune. In fact, the last time that my violin was being repaired, the luthier moved my bridge back a little bit, and my harmonics are bang on in tune now. So if the violin is set up properly, and all these relationships are correct, then you've got a better chance of playing in tune, and for your harmonics to be right, and just the whole violin to be better in tune with itself. So that's it. That's a little rundown of all the parts that make up a violin and a bow. So I've done other videos about how to look after your violin, how to use rosin, etc. But it's very good to know the right names for all the parts of your lovely violin. So I'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Bye.